So today's webinar is basically about plastic pollution. Hope you guys can see my screen. So the activity title would be Youth and Innovation to Address Plastic Pollution webinar. It is a joint webinar for Project Survival Plastic and Youth for Climate Action Project. The objectives are to have a session that raises awareness among the youth on the pollution issues of plastic and innovation needed to achieve the target to reduce plastic in waste streams. So I would like to invite Mr. Malik, who is representing the Ocean Smile. He is the education officer. If you could please introduce yourself.
Okay. So, should we start now?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me introduce myself. My name is Putra Malik Akbar from Indonesia. I was graduated from Marine Science Brawijaya University last month. In this moment, I would like to convey the handling of waste management, especially plastic pollution in Indonesia, and also the best practice innovative solution to combat marine litter by Indonesia government and me as an individual person. So I'm here as education officer at Ocean Smile for program Blue Carbon, Marine Protected Area, and Ocean Issue. The Ocean Smile is a project with the objective of sustainable blue economy, education, literacy, and conservation related to issue of the ocean, environment, and climate change. The first of all, until 2020, the trend of plastic use in worldwide show there are not decreasing curve due to in every single year there are 300 million ton plastic has produced approximately. Moreover, the increasing of human population with their habit of dependency with single-use plastic made the number not turning back. The second one, even the developed countries still have not ability to utilize the waste of plastic use. And then how about we, the developing country, to solve plastic problem as a country nor as an individual person? Indonesia has been mentioning as the second one of plastic waste contributor in the ocean. Unfortunately, the others forget that Indonesia is just a choke point of voyage and located in between Indian Ocean, North Pacific Ocean. However, we should admit the problem in Indonesia are the highly of population and Indonesia is archipelago country. So the management of waste pollution require expert solution in a long time. In 2018, Indonesia in our ocean conference has committed that to reduce 30% marine debris in the ocean and manage 70% waste in landfill. The strategy consists of 3 R's that including reuse, reduce, and recycle, including plastic bag restriction, community-based composting, waste bank, and then improve waste handling. The regulation has published by Presidential Decree number 97, 2017 to combat marine litter. In other hand, Indonesia government declares National Plan of Action to combat marine debris 2018 to 2025 as stated in Presidential Regulation number 83, 2018, which involve in 16 ministries, local government, private sector, NGO, with total planned budgets up to 1 billion USD. Okay, that was preliminary about regulation about waste pollution in Indonesia, especially plastic. Now we talk about the best practice innovative solution to combat marine debris or marine litter. Okay, the first one, waste bank. The main source of national waste comes from household activities. The waste management must also be based on community participation approach. With the waste bank facilities, the community could be encouraged to sort and process their waste independently and convert it to money. So the waste bank in Indonesia have been operated in 31 provinces and 218 districts and cities with 8,000 in total all across Indonesia. The second one, waste management facility, or we call 3R center. The purpose of 3R center for carrying out of collecting, sorting, reusing, and recycling at a regional scale. It will provide circular economic benefit at the regional level. And the third one, creative recycle product. With the creativity of utilize the plastic pollution, such packaging box, plastic bottle, detergent pack, local community have turned it into something item more useful and valuable than previously. The fourth one, plastic bottle paid bus. So there is one city in Indonesia, Surabaya is one of biggest city in Indonesia. So the citizen, when they are to travel with the bus, passengers are required to pay using plastic bottle. This bus can carry as many as 67 people at maximum, and the plastic waste collect will be deposited at waste bank to be recycled into more useful material. So passenger must exchange their 10 plastic bottle cups or 5 medium-sized plastic water bottle or 3 large plastic bottle to get a free pass ticket to travel with the bus in Surabaya. The fifth one, local regulation. There are 17 cities in Indonesia has banning single-use plastic in their city that consists of mini market, supermarket, mall, and the others. The sixth, the utilize technology to convert waste to the energy. There are 5 cities in Indonesia with technology approach to convert waste to electrical power. And the 7th one, clean up. So the coastal clean up, ocean clean up, river clean up, it will be a significant impact with height of participant and many locations to clean up. And the important things from the beach clean up or the ocean clean up and river clean up, there are should be scheduled monthly. So don't just be a ceremonial event, but should be scheduled monthly event. To solve waste problem in archipelago country, Jakarta provide waste transporting vessel operates around the island to collect and transport garbage in Thousand Island Regency, around 13 vessels already. So 8, coastal cleanup information system. This system is contain all beach cleanup data around Indonesia, the location, the number of people involved, and the amount of garbage and the length of coastline. Okay, 9, resources. Indonesia have been developing a marine litter monitoring, forecasting, and also analyzing system for controlling cross-border pollution and environmental degradation from various sources consist of plastic. The last one, regional capacity center for cleanses, for strengthening capacity building and increase the awareness of various stakeholders through the development and implementation. So after we talk about the government role in Indonesia, I would like to explain about how we combat plastic pollution as an individual person. Personally, I never say I didn't use plastic, but I'm always committed and spread that I reduce the amount of quantity of plastic in a day or in a single week. For create a behavior habit, you don't strive to a high target, but you should start in a step progress. As long as I'm studying in marine science, I was awareness about plastics since I was the sea turtle, whale, and the others dying cause plastic. I start my day to bring tumbler, bring a tote bag, and didn't use plastic straw. Maybe sounds ordinary, but as an individual person, that just I did. In other hand, with my community, I oftenly schedule to doing a bit clean up monthly, making campaign, discussion with others community, and come to local community about raising their awareness about plastic. That's all I can say. Hopefully it can be an inspiration story and description of the condition regarding the plastic problem in Indonesia. So maybe we can talk each other in Q&A session. Hopefully, thank you and enough from me.
Okay, thank you very much, Akbar. So there's a few questions. So do you think the society has enough information on the dangers of plastic bags? As you mentioned, all the 10 important factors that is currently influencing in Indonesia. So if you could explain if the society has enough information on the dangers of plastic pollution in Indonesia.
Okay, can you repeat one time?
Do you think the society has enough information on the dangers of plastic pollution in Indonesia?
I think the society of the local community have information enough for some cluster. Maybe the citizen with economic with high economic, maybe they have received the information, but the other citizen with the low economic background, they have no time to read the information, or they have not the bridge to get the information. And this is one problem in Indonesia, and this is the homework for the young activists for spread the information to all elementary citizens, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me introduce our next guest speaker. He is Mr. Mehedi Janet. He is from Bangladesh. He is the organizational secretary for Dhrubotara Youth Development Foundation. So, sir, welcome to this pollution webinar, and thank you very much for joining us. The stage is all yours.
Thank you, Kumar, for inviting me here, and I am so great to see all of you guys. This is Mehedi Janet from Bangladesh, and actually I didn't prepare any speech for you. I am sorry. I was literally so busy with several events, but I can share some of my experience, some of my knowledge, and also some of emotions that I connect with the people who are mostly in danger because of climate change and what we're doing to our Mother Earth. Today, the topic is plastic pollution, right, Kumar? If I'm not wrong, it's a plastic
Yes,
pollution. We have to
yes,
talk
that's
about
right.
plastic pollution. Okay. Things like plastic is a part of our life. I can show you that currently I am sitting with a bottle. Uh, it is made by plastic, but I use this bottle for last 4 or 5 months, and to for drink water actually. So we cannot actually ignore plastic. What we can is we have to find the way how can we reduce the uses of plastic. We need to find the way how can we recycle plastic, and we need to find a way that how can we uh, protect our the pollution that we are making through plastic in our environment. Now come why it is an issue. Plastic is an issue. Plastic is a synthetic organic polymer that made by petroleum, and you can see plastic everywhere. Why? Where we don't use plastic? You can. We use plastic in packaging, building, construction, household, stop equipment, even in agriculture sector. So I have already said thing like with the plastic we cannot live, but is it true? In some point we need plastic, but we may have the alternative of plastic like jute product or other product. We can use them or utilize them if we can design them in a proper way. And already my previous panel speaker, maybe Akbar, he has shared a lot of statistics regarding plastic uses and waste, and he already mentioned that maybe at least 8 million tons of plastic every year end up to oceans, and most of them floating from the surface and the coastal areas, and it causes problem. And more than over 300 million uh, tons of plastic produced each year, and and half of them is designed for single use, like uh, shopping bags, for cups, straws. So what we need to do is, I just want to tell three things that that way we can reduce the uses of plastic. First, spread the word. Already Kumar asked a question that does society have enough information about plastic? Okay, for me, we actually the society don't have enough information, especially in the developing country like India, Bangladesh, South Asian country, Indonesian country, Indonesia, Philippines, because peoples in this country living, we mostly believe in God. And when a natural disaster happened, we thought, okay, it is caused because God wanted. But we never thought that we are bringing this disaster in our life. For example, God, okay, I personally believe in God. I believe that God have power to monitor or control everything, but God also give us power, give up the brain to think about how can we develop ourselves, how can we develop people's life, what the wrong and what's the right. If we cannot decide what is wrong, what is right, then we are not the human. We have no difference with animals. So spread the word. Every action we have has an impact upon our planet. Every action. Let people know why environment is important, how plastic can impact on nature, and what they can do to take care of it. We can only help the planet if we do it together. Like there is several organizations who are working on it, but we need to aware the general people, because people are not aware when they use plastic. People throw plastic here and there. People throw plastic in tourist spot, in oceans, in river. We are the people. We are carrying this problem. We are having this problem, and we are creating this problem. So people need to aware of this. So spread the word. why plastic is harmful for our life, for human, for nature, for planet. And second one is, if you don't reuse, then please refuse. There are so many things we could do with our plastic, like for example, a bottle. We just throw it after the use. But if we could not throw it, what can we use? Maybe we can make a toothbrush holder. Maybe we can make a hanging planter, or other things we can make. There is a organization in Bangladesh, their name is BD Clean. They have shown lot of creative uh, product by reusing plastic. So we have to follow that. We have to reuse. If we can't reuse, please, I request, refuse the use of plastic. And the last one, my point is, waste less, recycle more. It's a huge problem actually. Countries like Bangladesh and other underdeveloped or developing countries having this problem because they don't have proper uh, mechanism or technology to reuse or recycle plastics. So people through that, and it's wash with water in oceans. So we have to develop this technology. We have to connect modern technology with our daily life, with this kind of uh, issues that are happening around. And why now to come to the point of climate change, plastic is one of the vital and major cause of climate change, because when we through plastic, it's as you know that it is very durable, and it's not possible that plastic preserve or plastic uh, get in soil very easily. So it's a durable product, and it's cause of carbon emission, which is cause of global warming. So this is how plastic actually made change on climate. And climate is not my issue. Climate is not just our issue. Climate is a issue of the world, because each and every country will be suffer because of climate. Maybe some countries more, maybe some countries less, but we have to suffer because of climate change. As you can see, during this time of pandemic, we can we are observing the most fresh and blue sky and uh, blue water or clean water. Why this has happened? Because during this time the industries was shut down, the vehicles that causes carbon emission was not on roadside. So we have to rethink on that context. And as I recall, already some world famous environmentalists asked the world if it is possible to make the world in a shutdown mood for a certain time. Uh, I think it is possible, because uh, there is summer vacation, there is winter vacation in each and every country. If we use that vacation and reduce the uses of the products or of the elements that causes climate change, maybe we can reduce the problem of climate change. On the other hand, actually, I work with youth and the community people who are living in the coastal areas as well. I have visited many parts in my country. What I can say, people are dying, people are suffering, but people are not aware. People are not aware that what we are bringing to the planet. People are not aware that, because the planet was we're living today was not as before, and we have to accept the fact that it will not as today. But we are the person who are the driving or the wheel power of the planet. We can decide if we want to make our planet more worst for our next generation, or we want to make our planet more better for our next generation. We have to decide that. So in this point, I have observed people born by disabilities, people lost their home, people lost their lands. And in a Bangladesh context, if the rise of sea level only 1 meter, then we will lose 15% of our land, and more than 30 million people will be displaced. So Bangladesh is a very vulnerable situation, but still we are not aware of it. And why we are vulnerable? We are Bangladesh is not causing most the climate change or carbon emission. This problem is happening because of the developed countries, because of the industrial revolution. We are just earning money, we are just planning how to develop the economy, but we are not aware of our environment, or we are not uh, aware of climate change. As you know, America, especially Trump, already uh, withdraw America from the Paris Climate Agreement. What a shame. What a shame for Trump. I don't know. I mean, how can a person can do that by the name of development, by the name of economy? Can we do that? No, we don't have any right. This planet is for each and everyone. We cannot make any single decision that harm our climate, that harm our earth, that will make trouble to our next generation. But we are using our power, we are using our money, we are using our guns, we are using our weapon to uh, rule the world. Okay, I have no problem if you want to rule, but you have to rule in a proper way. You have to take in mind that people are living in developing countries suffering because of you. People living in the underdeveloping country suffering because of you. Most of the American country, Asian countries, people who are suffering of climate change, especially Philippines, Bangladesh, India, and the other oceans, coastal countries are suffering of it. Why I have to suffer for you? I have the question. Why I have to have support? Do you feed me? No. I have to arrange my food. I have to arrange my people's food. So why? Who give you the right to cause problem in our art, in our life? You don't have the right. So we have to spread this message to the people, to the world leader, to the policymakers, so that they can form a policy. And we not when it's not just about forming the policy, we have to monitor and proper implementation of the policy. I don't know. Maybe I have talked much. I have talk lot of hard words, but what I have said, I have from my feeling. I never make a speech. I never uh, feel that I have to talk away. Always I talk what I feel, because I have the emotional connection with the people who are suffering. I have the emotional connection with the people. I have the, especially the women and children in the countries, especially in developing countries, suffering more, because as you know, children and women need proper nutrition and proper sanitation. But I am sorry to say, country like Bangladesh, country like India, countries like other developing countries cannot afford the proper sanitation, proper nutrition for their people. But we are trying hard to do that. But it is the fact that we cannot able to uh, sorry, support our people what they need actually. So we have to come with a proper plan. We have to come with a uh, proper action. We have to come together, because if I just aware of it, if I just don't use plastic, if I just don't uh, I maybe know about the fact that climate change happening because of us, then it will not help our planet. We have to raise the public awareness. We have to connect the policymaker with our thought. We have to build or create the attention of the world leaders, especially UN. They are also suffering because there are some rules. They cannot control of all of the countries, all of the leaders of the countries. But what we need to do is we have to. So that's, I think I have talked a lot already. If there is anything else, you can ask me.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mehdi. Well, that was a fantastic speech, I would say. A high level statement that you mentioned. You had a very strong, very intense. I can literally see your feelings, your emotions, your strong emotions regarding your nation, regarding Bangladesh. Thank you very much. I salute you for that. And there's a question. There's a question for you from Rakshinda. She has asked you, how can we refuse the plastic when almost everything comes into plastic wrappings?
Okay. Uh, as I already said that stainless life is not possible without plastic. But if you reuse, as I said, that how can you reuse a bottle? How can you reuse a plate? How can you reuse a jar? Maybe you can make a flower top. Maybe you can make a uh, holding of your mobile or holding of with toothbrush. So it is really hard to refuse the plastic, because as I say, in each and every place you will see plastic, in agriculture, in industry, in housing, in school, in college, everywhere you will see plastic. But what we can do is we can reuse, we can be aware when we use it, and we have to recycle it. So it's because plastic is very durable and very cheap. This is why actually human producing plastic so high, and it is also safe for some products, and safe for some daily necessaries as well. But what we need to do is reuse, or uh, as I said that I have a water bottle which I'm using for the last 4 months. So I can buy a water bottle every day, each and every day, right? I need maybe 2 liter water every day. So I can buy 2 liter water every day, but I didn't do that. I just buy a bottle of water, and I reuse this bottle for the last 4 months. And when I have to throw it, I will obviously I will throw it in a uh, place where government can collect and recycle it. So we have to be aware when you use plastic. We have to be aware when we have to reuse plastic. We have to think, how can we reuse plastic? It is not possible that we completely ignore plastic, because it is in everywhere. Maybe if we want to really ignore plastic, then you have to make each and everything by yourself. This is not possible. We cannot make, we don't have that capacity that we'll make everything in our home. So we have to think, how can you reuse, and how can you uh, uh, recycle the waste of plastic. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, basically, Rakshinda, as you mentioned, how can we prevent? What are some of the solutions, I suppose? So at the moment, currently in Fiji, we're banning all the 0.05, or I could say 0.05 of microbeads. So from 2021, 1st January 2021, we're banning all the foam materials such as uh, takeaway packages, foam glasses, and etc., which is used by foam. So we are all banning that, and some of the alternative solutions for that we are using. Rather than using plastic straws, we are currently using bamboo straws, steel straws as well. And in terms of package, currently we are using papers. Well, the papers, they're degradable as well, so it is currently environment friendly as well. So uh, we have our next speaker, which is Mr. Darien Castro. He is from Ecuador. Sir, welcome to this webinar. Congratulations as well. Congratulations, Mr. Mehedi and Mr. Darien. I heard you guys were in MOOC 26. So thank you very much, and the floor is all yours, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Pallawish, for this opportunity in this webinar. And yeah, uh, many consequences of the plastic use in around the world, not only in Bangladesh or India, Indonesia. or Fiji. It's all around the world, even in, when many people pollute the water sources in fragile ecosystems, all these, for example, rivers, lakes, in the Andean lowlands, mountains, all this water with these plastics uh, throw in the Pacific Ocean. So it's a real problem with when all these plastics materials, it's the contribution not only of one, two, or three countries. Is a contribution in all, all the planet, all the global south, the global north too, but especially the global north. We know what is the consequences about the plastics and microplastics degradation in all these oceans, in all these seas. We have, for example, a problem in the Galapagos Island. Is a reserve, natural reserve, recognized for by is recognized this reserve by um, UN, the United Nations, like a biosphere and humanity reserve patrimony, and many difficulties about the protection of these ecosystems, fragile ecosystems, even in the sea, or even like islands that have a endemism. Endemism is meaning that all that species in that island or in that geography, place, or location are unique for the rest of the world. You can see a Galapagos turtle or whale shark in another coast or another island. So that's the main reason, because the Galapagos Island is a natural treasure, not only for Ecuador, it's my country where I come from. It's too for the rest of the South America. It's a great patrimony, and even for the world, because it's a great place when many species, even across the oceans, have the opportunity to get into this space. But in the same time, the microplastics and plastics use is very uncomfortable, the treatment in these islands, especially because, sea turtles like a Cheloniamidas is the typical sea turtle in these islands, have problems with the confusion about the jellyfish and the plastics bag. It's very common to see, like many sea turtles with uh, with these problems in the digestion problems, and with the plastics, the plastic material. So it's a very common to see. I have seen a new method around the world for this voicelet. Voicelet is the ocean cleaning. It's a guy that have a method of the web in the ocean to catch all the plastics, even in the in the in the deep seas, and it's a very efficient method to catch not only the plastics materials in a grade like a bags, or like another, for example, even technologic trash or technologic garbage uh, in basis of plastics. Even the microplastics can be catched in these in this uh, in this web, and it's a great method that he he used in all these coasts in the Pacific and Atlantic too, Ocean. Atlantic Ocean too. And I think it's not necessary, you know, to talk about the culture of the use of the plastics, because right now we have an amount of this material around the world. It's a high level of this the use of this material. So I think, yeah, we need to create that recycle these materials first of all, and then you know, we can create this reduce program to, you know, all these plastics that right now are in many ecosystems, in the urban spaces, in the forest or fragile ecosystems, are catched for these methods, like for example the voice lab method. And then we can see that in the past of the years, year by year, we can see the progress of these politics. Because right now in my country we have a legislation, we have a constitution that right now many congresses and other politics have the idea that we need to put the taxes of the plastic use. And yeah, it's very efficient measure, because even in United Kingdom is used right now. And yeah, it's a great idea, but in the same time many people have advantage in these situations, and no reduce this plastic use, that only, you know, replace its materials. And this is another question: what's the difference between, you know, I can use a type of plastic, I deny that use of this plastic, and use another material that have the same contaminated index like a plastic. So it's these problems, these troubles, it's more about the politic statements, not just only for scientific, because the scientific evidence, the scientific facts exist, but the politics don't have that you know, that knowledge, or just deny. Like for example, we have many examples like that, and Trump, Bolsonaro too. Bolsonaro say even that the Amazonas is only for Brazil. So, you know, Ecuador, Colombia, Peru don't have nothing about the Amazon, don't care about the Amazonas. And yeah, it's that lack of the knowledge is the reason, because many politics have a wrong decisions, and have many mistakes in the politics. And that's the reason, because many people don't care about the contamination, or don't care about the water pollution, or just, you know, don't have that conscience about that.
Nice. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Darien. That was a very powerful speech from you as well. Thank you very much. Well, as you mentioned about the plastic pollution, that the UK, the America, the EU, and Indonesia. So it's a very powerful words coming out from you. You are a climate activist as well. You're basically in Amazon, basically saving the forest in Amazon. So thank you very much. A salute to you as well. So just a note, guys, this would be our end for this session, whereas the speakers have already mentioned some of the parts and briefly explained on plastic pollution in their nations. So if you guys want, you can ask questions. This is the best time to ask questions. We are going to have a Talano session now, so please feel free. If you want, you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself, and then ask questions to whichever speakers you would like to. Thank you. Okay, so there is a question. It's for Mr. Akbar. So the question is, do you think if plastic pollution is going to increase after COVID-19? Let me repeat myself again. Do you think will plastic pollution increase after COVID-19, this pandemic?
This is a question for me, or?
This is the question for you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think it's a problem right now with this COVID-19 pandemic, especially with the use of the healthcare materials like a mask, like a gloves, like everything materials that have plastic basis is dangerous for the contamination and pollution. Water, and not only water, you know, we right now can see you know, in the food, in the animal meat that have some index of or amount of this microplastic. So it's not new, this contamination. So, but you know, in the same time, in this COVID-19 pandemic, it's more serious. What happened with the masks, the use of the mask, and how many masks in around the world in every country are used. But in the same time, I think, you know, depends in many countries. You know, in my country, for example, many people use the same mask. This is a wrong method, because when you use the same mask and recycle the same mask, it's so wrong, so bad, not only for you, for the rest of the people. So yeah, it's I think that only on all these problem with the plastics materials and the COVID-19, we could provide for another materials, like for example nanocellulose. It's a new material. No, it's not a new material. It's a material that many people use, for example, for the prosthetics, or another materials for you know, fibers, for industrial materials or something like that, and it's biodegradable, bio using, for, you know, it's very easy to throw in the earth, and it's not a pollutant material. So it's we can do more advances for more materials for the protection of the healthcare, but in the same time, many people don't invest in these materials. So yeah, in the future we can see more contamination for the masks, for the gloves, for even for equipment, protection equipment. It's very complex. So I think it's a worse future with these plastic materials about the COVID-19.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. All right, for Mr. Akbar. Sir, can you hear me?
Okay, for me, the increase in plastic use during the pandemic, because people need more safety from the virus. They are using more plastic for packaging food and beverage, and delivering item, and also the increase of plastic is not just single-use plastic, but the increasing of plastic waste is sourced from mass, from a single-use glove, and medical waste during this pandemic. I think so. The conclusion is the increase of number of plastic use is increasing while and during this pandemic.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Mehedi.
Thank you, Kumar. I think the question was about, can you repeat the question?
Yes, sir, the question was, can plastic pollution get worse after the COVID-19 pandemic?
Actually, plastic, as I already mentioned, plastic is in everywhere. So it's already increased. And I don't know how much it can be increased, but this pandemic has taught us a lot of things. We have to learn from this pandemic, because this pandemic healed the problem that environment was suffering. This pandemic shows us what we had done with nature, what we had done with environment, what we done with our animals and with other creature of God. This pandemic shows that how we can reduce carbon emission, how we can make the life better for our world or for our environment. As you can see that dolphin back in France, turtle back in India, even dolphins back in Bangladesh, the world largest sea beach Cox's Bazar. We have showed dolphin playing in the seaside. So they were not present for a decade or for the last 2 decades, but they have backed. So this pandemic literally make us think that what we can do. So I don't know if it will increase or it will be reduced, but the thing is we have to reduce the uses of plastic. The thing is we have to think how can we recycle, reuse, or what are the alternative of plastic. We have to come in the point. This is, I think, we have learned from this pandemic situation, and I hope that people will understand, people will be aware when they use plastic. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So we have a question as well. My question is to Mr. Akbar, sir. Is plastic pollution the main reason behind the condition of Saturn River in Indonesia?
Okay, thank you, Rasinda, for the question. I think the problem in Citarum River in Indonesia is not just plastic, because in Citarum River, local livelihood, they are living in Citarum. So it's not just plastic, but domestic waste, but the waste of local household, they throw it into the river directly, and then the plastic, the problem how management waste inland, and also the plastic just being into a microplastic. So the problem in Citarum River is the citizen with they living in Citarum River, because they think they don't have time to throw their waste, and then they just throw their waste to river directly, I think.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anyone else with the questions? Mr. Ashish. He's from Nepal. I think he has a question for the speakers. Sir, if you could unmute yourself. I think there is a bit technical problem here. So next question is from Miss Divya Arora. She's from India. So her question is, as we know that many things come with plastic wrappers, can't the government make rule to stop the various industries from using those wrappers? Speakers, this is your question from Madam Divya Arora. So we'll start with Mr. Akbar. Say.
Um, for the some regulation in Indonesia has banning 17 cities to ban single-use plastic, but to ban about plastic wrapping, I have not reading about that. Actually, that that the solution we should recommend to the government to ban also plastic wrapping and not just single-use plastic. And we need the platform, and we need the community, and we need the more voice to speak about plastic wrapping, so the government can can making decision, I think. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Mehdi.
Uh, Thanks for the question, actually. And actually, there is already some law, but there is not the implementation or monitoring of the law, because by the so-called sake of economic development, government are like they are not watching anything, they are not saying anything, and the industry uh, create pollution into and produce carbon emission. And we need actually the mindset that we have to obey the law, we have to implement the law, so that people get aware, and people, because only awareness is not enough for the people who are not actually aware of it, because everyone is not same as the way we think today. The maybe my friends, my colleague not thinking the same. So we have to implement the law strictly, strongly, so that we can monitor or reduce the carbon emission. There is law, but we are not implementing this law, because the industry is making our economy growth, the industry making our economic faster, they create employment opportunity for our people. So this is why maybe government consider the situation, but that shouldn't happen.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Darien. Yes.
Thank you, Pallawish. Well, I agree with with Mehedi Janet. I am totally agree with that. Many people don't understand what happened with the laws and what happened when the people um, don't do all about the law. The societies have a function of in it and depend of the political side. It's not only in the case of the United States, Democrat Party create a new regulation for the fossil fuels. That's the politics for this party. But in the same time, when you can see what happened with that regulations, with taxes, with all of us, with these economic regulations, it's very complicated to say at the rest of the people that don't don't have some affections or some consequences about that politics. So I think it's more about the economic and the market system, the current uh, economic system. It's not only the capitalism. Many people talk about that. Yeah, the capitalism is the devil or something like that. No, it's not true because the consequences of the capitalism, it's the pollution, the destruction of the ecosystems. But at the same time, we have many alternatives to create energetic sources or alternatives in the cleaning the rest of the residues or trash or garbage in another countries with high technology, advanced technology. And in the same time, I think it's a problem with the again for the economic system that create these programmed obsolescence in many of these cases with technology like for example cell phones, like laptops, like PCs. Many people have that guarantee that a cell phone or a laptop have a lifetime for the use. But in the same time, in this situation that the mining industry destroy many ecosystems in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, why we don't use the wasted materials of the technology to recycle that gold, that copper that many people need, because we can see even in the Bangladesh or in Africa, in Senegal or in Kenya or in Congo too, that they have uh, many amounts of these materials of the technology, like a laptop, cell phones, everywhere. And you can see that garbage, and many people say, why you don't recycle that material in this situation that we don't need more mining projects or something like that. We can say we can do that, but many people don't have that idea about.
Thank you, sir. I suppose there is a question for Mr. Darien again and Mr. Mehedi. Is there a company in your country that makes products from plastic waste, such as furniture, bricks? So, Mr. Mehedi?
I think I got so many questions, and I would love to answer this question. Actually, thank you so much, guys, for the questions. What you asked last is there is any company that produce like furniture or other things by plastic? Actually, there is not any industry that actually produce or reuse or recycle plastic, but there are some organization and individuals who actually train up to the general people and showcasing their product, that how to reuse the plastic and how we can recycle the plastics. So there is not from any industry based on plastic reuse or recycle, but there are some small NGO, non-profit non-government organization, and some community, some groups who are actually doing this, and they are doing very fantastic. If you want, I can share some picture or link of those organization so that you can or the news link so that you can watch them. I will share with Paul So he will share. I think I got some other question as well. Okay, let me check. Action. What are the actions taken in Bangladesh regarding plastic pollution? Okay, I would love to say that Bangladesh is one of the first country in Asia who banned plastic bags in 2002. But you will wash plastic is and everywhere in Bangladesh. But we have the law, we have banned that. Even the High Court recently ordered the government to ban the single-use plastic in, especially in coastal areas, restaurant, and in other sector. But you will see plastic bags, plastic bottles is in every restaurant and everywhere in Bangladesh, even in the coastal area and the tourist spot. Also, Bangladesh in 2010 government um, make a rule to use jute bag instead of plastic bag, but still there are some industry which are actually under the government, but government are closing those jute industry because it is in loss profit. So this is what happening. What I told her, there is law, there is uh, rules, but government are not willing to implement those. They are just showing that, yeah, we have rule. So this is the show off. They are not willing to actually do this because there is some political interest, there is some economical interest. So this is why actually government not willing to do this. This is not just a problem in Bangladesh, it's problem in worldwide, in every countries. The government actually, when they make decision or rules, they actually think they are from their political view, from their economical view. So this is why actually they don't want to implement. But the people, common people like you, like me, the way we think, government maybe not connect our thinking. So we have to raise our voice so government or the policymakers can think the way we are thinking today. Did I got more question?
Well, I suppose that's it. You did explain very strongly about everything related to your nation and everything related to this planet. And thank you very much. Would like to thank Mr. Darien as well, Mr. Akbar, for joining us in this very last time, organized time for this plastic webinar. Well, the video would be available later on uh, today. And thank you very much, sir. And guys, just a bit request from all of you, if you could on your video and I could take a screenshot, and we will be putting it on our page, Facebook page. Okay. Well, I suppose the others are a bit shy, so five of us would do. So hold on. All right. Thank you, guys. So our next webinar would be on Wednesday, 6 p.m. GMT plus 12. So you guys, I will put down the link and the password for this webinar, and please, if you're free, please feel free to join. And thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Akbar, Mr. Mehedi, Mr. Darien, for joining. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. Hope we will meet again, talk again, and bring positive change. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, Maria. You got any other questions? You can speak to me now.
I have no question. It was an interesting event. Next time.
Well, definitely we were expecting Mr. Eilers David. He's from Sustainability Ocean Alliance. So he was supposed to be one of the guests. Unfortunately, he got busy or something like that. So we had to invite Mr. Darien over from Brazil. So
Okay.
yeah. So
I was looking forward for his presentation anyway to know the situation here. So anyways, maybe next time.
yes, definitely we are going to have. Well, basically, this was live. Well, currently it's